Hey guys, this is Jay here. I'm a coding tutor, and this week for my training batch, I was teaching them how to use Postman, and I figured I'm in that Postman zone. Might as well make a quick video so that you know how to use Postman. Now, just the basics. As always, my channel is all about just the basics. So let's do this here. So okay, yeah, there we go. All right, so that's what I'm trying to do here. First thing is we are going to do. I have my website if you want to just check it out, and I have a Discord if you want to join. So there you go. So the first thing is, in order to use Postman, obviously, first thing you want to do is you need to install Postman. And that goes without saying, but I have to mention it. So please go ahead and install Postman. Now, I'm sure there are multiple ways for you to use Postman. I mean, I think there are extensions and online and other places. So there are always multiple ways to use apps these days. So, but my preferred way is to go ahead, just install Postman on your computer, right? Now, one thing which I've noticed is every time you try to install Postman, the biggest problem is it's kind of hidden on the website. So if you go to the website, you have to scroll down all the way to the bottom. Okay, and then all the there's a very small link right here. I'm going to zoom in. Do you see that? It's a very small link at the bottom of the website. You would actually think that they are actively trying to discourage you from downloading the app. Could be. Who knows how corporations work, right? But yeah, so there you go. The download option is here all the way in the bottom, and then you can download your Mac version or the Windows version or something. There's a web version as well and stuff like that. And another thing is, please make sure you create an account, because just like everything else in life, Postman also has a cloud connection, so that when you're doing things, it gets automatically synced to the cloud. It's a good idea. So I would request you to go ahead and sign into the Postman account and stuff like that. So once you install Postman, you go ahead and open Postman on your computer, right? It will look something like this. Okay. Now, what I always tell students is, when you open it, make sure you're logged in. I told you about it. Create an account. You can be part of multiple teams and stuff like that. That's really up to you. What I like to do is, once you've installed, don't forget to sign in. Create an account and sign in. Please do that. Okay, and after this, what I prefer that you do is to go ahead and create a workspace. Okay, so it's a good idea to go ahead and have a workspace, because you could be working on different projects, or it just helps you keep organized. I think those of you who watch my videos regularly, you know that I'm a huge fan of organizing things. I mean, I only teach basics, but organizing things is a basic skill. It's not an advanced skill. Some people seem to think that having your code, having your learning organized, or in fact having your life organized itself is some kind of a high-end skill. It's not. It is actually a very basic skill to keep things organized and in your life. Please keep things organized. So always go ahead and create a workspace. So how do you do that? On the top you have the button here. Click on this. Go ahead, click on create workspace. I'm just going to say for YouTube video, just showing my students how to create a workspace. Okay, now it doesn't matter which option you use. I just like to go with personal, because right now I'm not part of any teams. I mostly just work solo, so I'm just gonna put it as personal. But if you are a student, you're working on maybe a school project, or you're trying to coordinate with your tutor, for example, if you are one of my students and you're part of my open source projects, then definitely create a team if you want to add me and stuff like that. So, but right now I don't have any team, so I'm gonna select personal, and there it is. So I have the workspace. And the next thing what you'll do is, once you create a workspace, is you are going to create a collection. That's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to click on plus here, and then I'm going to say first collection. There we go. I just created a collection, and after that I'm going to create a request. You see that here. You also have a small button here. One thing you need to remember is that, like any other developer tool, a lot of these tools here, a lot of options, there are too many options. You have to move your mouse and wait for the icon to show up. So minimalism is something which is prevalent in all the developer tools. So you just have to be patient if you're a newcomer until you get used to all these tiny buttons, figuring out what is where and stuff like that. So there you go. I'm going to go ahead and add a request. And I'll first call this request at the NASA APOD API. So I like to use this NASA APOD. I think I mentioned that. I've mentioned it in other videos as well. So there is something called NASA APOD, which is NASA Astronomy Picture of the Day. I like this website very much. You know, it shows a different photo every day. Like, oh, how cool that is! How nice! How nice! How nice! The big moon. Nice, nice, very nice photo. Yeah, very pleasant. Oh, I'm getting distracted. So they have a NASA APOD API, which is here. Okay, so this is something I would recommend you practice, right? And if you go here, they have many APIs, and the one I'm talking about is the APOD API. And don't forget to sign up and get your own API key if you're using this API, right? So go ahead, get yourself a key, and then what you could do is they have given an example as well. So if I click on this, there you go, you can get the example like this. So if you want to try it out, as you can see here, you're getting JSON and everything, which is the format that most of the APIs use. So let's say if I want to test it out on Postman, I'm going to come put this here and I'm going to say send, and there it is. That's all you have to do. That is how to do a simple get. So you have the get here, select get, put your full endpoint, the full API URL, and save, and then hit send, and that's it. You'll get the response. That's all there is to it, how to do a simple get. Now, but of course you also want to do a post. Now for that, what I'll do is I'll take you to my own. So if you go to my account, my GitHub account, it's there in the description. Check out my GitHub account. I do have a organization, a GitHub organization, where I have started putting some open source projects. If you are a student, you want to get involved, please join my open source project. Already a few students are joining one by one, so I would like you also to join my project. Details are available on the organization. So once you go here, I have a backend API right here. This is my backend API, right? I have the details here and stuff like that. So this is currently deployed. Now where is it deployed? I have the deployment information here. Okay, there it is. This is where it is deployed. So this is the API. So I'm going to take this API. There we go. That's the app, and the API is here. Okay, there we go. The API is running. Okay, so now this one, let's say you want to use this, then what you're going to do is you're going to get this link, and you're going to again click this one, create a new request. There we go. And this is my project. What is this project called? Hold on, let me just paste this here first, and then I'll call this yeah, this is the name. Yeah, there you go. So I'll call this get. Okay, you can give whatever name you want. I'm just giving whatever name makes sense to me. And what I will do here is the endpoint is available in the code repository. So if I go here, the endpoint is hello JSON. So I'm going to copy the word hello JSON. I know my documentation is still not up to date. It's still a work in progress. Sorry about that. We are slowly working. I'm just one man, so I have to do everything right now. So there we go. I put that full endpoint here, and then I'll go ahead and say send. It's working. I'm getting a monkey whose age is 20. So that's another example of a get endpoint, right? So there we go. So you go ahead and create requests. I have a neck pain. Sorry about that. I have a little bit of neck pain due to decades of coding and sitting in front of computers. Sorry about that. So requests, where you do get. Now how to do post? Now post is different because let me go ahead and do a simple drawing here. Let me open Paint software. So I have my Paint software. Now what happens here is, see, when you are doing a get, so this is your app, right? And then you have your API server. So you make a request. This app can be your Postman also, or your web app or mobile app, doesn't matter. So what happens is, in a get, you place a request, but you're not sending any data. There's no data being sent. And the API simply responds with whatever data it is supposed to respond with. So this is a simple get. So you're simply getting some information from your API server. So that is why it's a get. You're just getting stuff from the endpoint directly. You're not sending anything. So that is a get. So now what happens is, in a post, So once again, you have your app, you have your mobile app, web app, Postman, whatever. Then you have your API server, right? So what you do is you actually send data in JSON format, of course. And then based on your data, the API server will send a response, which is of course again JSON data. So this is the data that you are sending, and this is the response data that is coming from the API server. So this is called a post thing. And there are many other types of things, of course, but I'm not going to get into that. I just want to teach a simple get and post. That's all I want to do in this video, and that is all I teach in my classes as well. I'm a basics tutor. I don't teach advanced things. I can't teach advanced things. So now what I want to do is I want to do a post. Now post is a little interesting because, as I mentioned, my documentation is not up to date. But what I can do is I can just look at the code. So look at this. So I have a post here. This is my post. Okay, so where is my post? Ah, there it is. This is my post. So the endpoint is return estimate. So let me go ahead and do that. Actually, you know what? Now that I'm talking to you, I think this is a good time to update my documentation. Yeah, you know what? I think I'm going to do that. So let me do that right now while I'm talking to you. Instead of complaining that I'm not able to find time to do this, let me go and update the documentation right now. So let's see. So here I'm going to say, API endpoints. So the first one is hello. So then the endpoint is going to be host, followed by, what does the endpoint look like? It looks like this. Okay, for example, if host is okay, let's see how that looks. Cool. And what will be the response? So let me check out the response here. This is the response. Okay. All right. Okay. There you go. That looks good. Okay. So the second endpoint. Let's keep going. Let's keep typing. Post. Now this endpoint, actually I think I have it here in this vector. Okay, so this one looks like this. There you go. There it is. It looks something like this. So this is post, so I'm just going to mention that, in case you visit my repository and you want to read through it. Okay. The body, that's the main thing. Now the body, what body are you going to include in the post? So that's the main thing. That's how the body looks, and the response would be, yeah, it's a good idea, you're also learning how do I use GitHub and stuff like that. So if I hit send here, and that's the response I'm going to get. It's working. The endpoint is working. There we go. Looks cool, right? So there you go. I was just complaining about API documentation not being there, and I just updated it. So there you go. So this is better. Doing live as well. So if some of you are like, okay, how do you use GitHub and stuff, you learned that as well. So there you go. This is what I'm trying to do. So let me go ahead and commit this. Okay. commit. Cool. It's looking nice. It's looking very nice. Okay, all right, guys. So let's do the post endpoint. So there we go. So once again, you're back here. I'm going to create a new request. In fact, I'm just going to duplicate it. Yeah, there we go. So I'm going to call this post because this is doing a post. Now I'm going to go to my updated documentation. Now this is the endpoint for post. There we go. I'm going to change this to post. Now I want to go to body. The body looks something like this. So I'll put that body here. Remember, the body is usually raw and JSON. Don't forget that. And then don't forget to save, hit send, and there it is. That's how you use post. And there you go, guys. That's all there is to it. As always, I have my Discord, I have my website. Go ahead and check it out. Thanks.